Hi, my name's Tim Malloy. I'm a professor here at the UCLA School of Law with a joint appointment in the School of Public Health. I'm also the co-faculty director of the UCLA Sustainable Technology and Policy Program, and I'm affiliated with the CEIN. So the focus of my research is on the law, how the law interacts with the scientific discoveries that are going on at the CEIN. So I got into this originally because I focused on chemical policy. How do we regulate chemicals that are in the world, in our consumer products, in the air, so on and so forth. And it was a natural move to start thinking about nanotechnology as that became an emerging technology. One of the interesting things about what goes on at CEIN is the development of these new technologies that allow us to predict in advance what the impacts of a particular new nanoparticle might have on human health or the environment. That happens to be central to policy in terms of how we protect the environment and human health. So a lot of the work that I do attempts to take what's being developed in CEIN and try to envision how that could be implemented in either mandatory regulation or in private decision making by businesses. There's really two areas that I'm most excited about. One is what would the new regulation look like? So if we have this capacity that comes out of CEIN to predict without having to do animal testing, what the impacts might be on humans or the environment, how would that change what the law looks like? So that's an exciting area for me. So I recently finished an article called Principle of Prevention that essentially looks at what the current law is and how we use those types of emerging predictive toxicological methods, but then also imagines what could the law look like if we embrace these things completely and move beyond kind of what the laws look like for the past 40 years. So, one of the problems with the way the legal system is structured right now for chemicals is you have to remember it was created in 1976. So look around your house. Do you have anything from 1976 that you're still using? Well, we're still using those laws, and they were developed in a time where toxicological methods were much more primitive, where our knowledge about how people use chemicals and how companies respond to regulation were much different. We've made tremendous advances in kind of the social science of regulation, as well as tremendous advances in terms of toxicology. So as it exists right now, most people tend to think that the chemicals in the products that they use have been tested and approved by the government. The fact is, most chemicals, in fact, the large majority of chemicals, don't have complete toxicological testing, and nobody has comprehensively reviewed them. And that's a significant problem. The way in which we affect society is really affecting what the law looks like. So to give you an example, in California, a few years ago, there was a new law that changed the way chemical regulation is done. Right? And it required the development of a new set of regulations that would guide both the government agency and the private businesses about how to interact. We did a lot of research here at UCLA about what those kinds of regulations should look like and what kind of methodologies might be available for making those decisions. And some of that work that we've done, we're able to present to both industry stakeholders and to the regulators who are developing the new regulatory program. And some of the things that we developed actually became part of the proposed regulations that came out. So most people tend to think about, professors being stuck in an ivory tower and not having impact, but what we're trying to do is have a direct impact on how the law is crafted, and also to assist businesses and NGOs in figuring out what are the options for taking these great ideas about what the law could look like and these just fantastic scientific discoveries and making them real so that they have on-the-ground implications. I think the thing that would surprise people the most in terms of the work I do in law is that rarely does it involve any actual cases. So I'll give people articles I've written, and they'll kind of like page through them, and they'll say, you don't talk about any judges or court cases. The thing about the work that I do and most other people do in the regulatory areas, we're much more focused on empiricism. That is, what's actually happening, how do companies make decisions, how does this law work, how many enforcement actions have been taken, things like that. And that's basically doing research and analysis. It's not reading cases. I would rescue two things. I have a picture of my one daughter when she was like this big, and I'm holding her up, and I love that picture. And then I have a picture of my other daughter in kindergarten where she's just standing there and she's got her arms folded like this staring at me. And those are more important than anything else that I got in my office.